Welcome to Camp Cookout Adventures. Join me for a night's camp on Dartmoor as we explore Fernworthy Forest and Reservoir, cook up a fantastic Italian meal for tonight and have a great time. Let's do this. It's Camp Cookout Adventures. It's Camp Cookout Adventures. Ladies and gents, this is Fernworthy Reservoir. Situated right in the heart of Fernworthy Forest. This huge reservoir has a 38 million gallon capacity and at its deepest point is 64 feet deep. Just an outstanding area of natural beauty and I can't wait to go exploring. We've got some visitors along the footpath. There's loads of them. A whole herd of moorland ponies joined us. Look at that lot. Now if you guys can see that, but the dangers of walking through the tall grass, that is a tick. And a fair sized one at that. Those things will latch onto your clothes, crawl up you into all your nasty areas and suck your blood. You must be really careful of ticks. Double check yourself after each adventure because you do not want Lyme's disease. Got one on me already. Look at him. Get out of it. Walking along, we've discovered the ruins of a prehistoric structure. Fernworthy area is absolutely littered with these settlements, and this round stone circle was once upon a time some kind of a homestead for some prehistoric people. It's a tremendous place to come and explore. We've only barely just parked and we're finding historical places of note already. We are starting our adventure from the car park at Fernworthy Reservoir. Right next to it there's public toilets. You do have to pay £5 for a 24-hour period and you're greeted immediately by this lovely picnic spot right alongside the reservoir itself. What we're going to do to start off with is follow the coast of this reservoir until we reach the western side, and once we're there we're going to dive into the Fernworthy Forest, and later on we're going to go south onto the moor and find a spot to set up camp tonight. It is stunningly beautiful. I tell you what I do regret though, and that's not bringing any sun cream. I think I'm going to be pretty frazzled by the time you guys see me tomorrow. We are headed away from the eastern tip of the reservoir now and plunging into the forest. We come across this amazing looking barn. It's pretty creepy and cool. Reminds me of a Tom Waits song. There's a bit of a theatrical soundscape he does called What's He Building in There? That tune would go really good over some footage of that. 7 years bad luck walking underneath a ladder. How many years bad luck do you think that would be? It's huge. You would not want that to come down on your head. Spiky as well. It looks like that club from The Walking Dead. What's that character that wields it? And something? Negan? Yeah, looks like Negan's club. Ooh. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'm absolutely loving this. It's a hard choice between mountains or forests being my favourite landscapes. Right now it's forests because I'm in one. It's so gorgeous. I haven't really been mountain exploring since I was a teenager in the Pyrenees, where you have proper snow-capped mountains and peaks. That was a memorable holiday. I really want to relive that experience, especially with the kids. You know, I've been stood here for a minute or two just wondering how this tree has fallen over. And I can't figure it out. I'm absolutely stumped. I'm over 50 miles from home and I can hear my daughter's eyes rolling at that one. Oh dear. Well, now that I'm a father, at least I have an excuse for terrible jokes. I love them. Oh, mentioning home, it's really got me pining for my family. It's so hot as well, I could murder a cone of ice cream. You lot probably think I'm off my tree. I can literally feel the subscribers number diminishing with every joke I tell. Stop, Sam, you've got to stop. One way we are really lucky in the UK is that the most dangerous thing out and about in the wild here that you're going to encounter, we actually encountered straight away, and that would be the tick. Because if you leave those things nibble on you and you don't find them, you can catch a disease called Lyme's disease. It's really nasty. But I'm glad that I've only got ticks to contend with instead of grizzly bears and other such things as you'd find in North America. I can't imagine what it would be like to have a massive 500-pound grizzly bear just coming out of the woods. I mean, I'm walking around as a hiker with about 18 kilo on my back, and yes, I am slightly out of breath as a mid-30s male who doesn't exercise anything like as often as he should. I tell you what, if one of them things came chasing me, I would just lay down and give up. I'd be too knackered to even worry about it. It's funny, back in my fitness days, a few years back, I did get in really good shape. And the first run I did, which was a park run at a place called Lanhydrock, was absolute torture. Anybody who knows, when they start running, your stamina is just non-existent. So every single footstep and pace that I would do would be just torturous. And I would have 60-year-olds going past me on their own pace, having got really good stamina and fitness that they've acquired all their years by keeping active. I got near the end of the race and we went across a field which had cattle in it. And a bull was looking at me and he was stomping his foot like that. I was so knackered, I was just like, you know what? If you want to take me out, you'd be doing me a favour. Because this is miserable. Miserable. Get it? Alright, I just been bitten by my first horsefly. So I'm breaking out the bug spray. I'm not putting up with that. Thank you very much. You can get out of it with your proboscis. Onward, my friends. In the absolute middle of nowhere, you still can't get away from Big Brother. Got CCTV in operation in the middle of Fernworthy Forest. God knows where that is. Maybe there's some kind of weird android robot pigeon with 2 cameras for eyes honing in on you. Or even homing in on you. Like a homing pigeon. Maybe that's what that means. Maybe that's what that is. Oh, good. We're now leaving the most southern tip of Fernworthy Forest, which borders right alongside the moorland. It's just like we're leaving the edge of Mirkwood in Lord of the Rings. You've got the border of the Fernworthy Forest, and here we are now, out on the open plains of the Moor. It's all very Lord of the Rings, isn't it? You've got this fantastic great wall of trees, super dense and imposing, of the dark forest, and then we just walk out into the middle of plains just like the Rohan. It's so easy to get carried away and all fantastical when you're in environments like this, and I love it. I know it's a bit nerdy, but I just don't care. I just don't care. So along the tree line here, I think, is where we're going to try and set up tonight. Gonna find a nice flat spot somewhere with a good view and get all nice and comfy and start cooking up some delicious food. I built up a hunger travelling through those woods. Found a spot, everybody. We've got the forest just behind us. We're right out on the moor. We've got a beautiful clear sky all the way around in case the sunset decides to give us a really good one. We've got this little dip which is nice and sheltered, and the reason I'm also choosing this spot, not only because it's flat, but because of this bad boy. I did not bring a camping chair with me tonight, and that is a perfect little stone stool. So we're going to do our cooking in this pit. I think I'm going to get my tent set right up there on that nice flat bit, and it's going to be a proper nice comfy little cozy home for the night. Really looking forward to it. Just in the shadow of the edge of the forest as well. It's going to be fantastic. Right, let's make up camp. Tonight we're going with our Long Geek teepee tent. I'm going to pair that up with the Hikeman ground sheet underneath it as well. It's a nice easy setup and it gives a little bit more headroom, which is what I wanted for tonight. I still haven't repaired my Van Gogh Banshee from when that fox nibbled a hole in it last time I was up on Dartmoor. It is a nice easy setup. I did an in-depth video on how to set this tent and the ground sheet up a few videos back. If you check out my previous hot tent camping video with the Winterwell titanium stove, I can show you exactly how to set this thing up really well, step by step. It's a nice tent and it's cheap. Oh, don't think it's going to be a bad view for the morning. This is nice and comfy. Got a nice squashy spot on the grass. So I've got to set up my air mat yet and my sleeping bag and my snug pack blanket. So I think I'm going to be in for a really good night. It's a lovely spot. We're about 100 feet away from Fernworthy Forest. So now that all the hard work and heavy lifting is done, we've got to get on some dinner. And what is on the menu tonight, Sam, I hear you say? We're going to cook again using our Thankyou 27 set. Because at the moment I'm re-watching arguably the greatest television series of all time, The Sopranos, I thought that I'd do a Sopranos themed dinner. So we're going to go with the Italian spaghetti. I made up some delicious tomato and fennel sauce earlier for the gravy. We've got to set up our little cooking station outside and get this cooking. Maron. Oh. Now, for those of you who have seen my videos before, you'll know that this little beauty here is the Thankyou 27 cook set. It all comes as a nice neat package. This is an aluminium base that we've got. It has this windshield, which is also a saucepan and a frying pan holder. It comes with 2 saucepans, a frying pan, and this lovely little kettle inside. It weighs next to nothing and its performance is absolutely outstanding. Couldn't quite believe it the first time I fired it up, but if you go check back on one of my previous videos when we unboxed this thing in an abandoned quarry and go camping for a night, the meal we cook from it, even that first time, is pretty spectacular. I've been using it ever since. It runs off of bioethanol and it is incredibly effective. It lasts a long time, gives you good heat, and you can cook up an absolute banquet with it. I'm going to start off tonight by boiling up some water. We're going to need a lot of hot water for this meal. Got to cook our spaghetti. I've saved myself a lot of work by making that pasta sauce at home first. Yeah. So that is our little stove and our reservoir. I'm going to unscrew the top of the thing. Whack that over there momentarily. Pop that in there, and in this container is bioethanol. I'm going to fill it up pretty full this time because I think we've got to boil that spaghetti for quite a while. Press the lid on it, tip it in there. About that much, looks great. It's a really safe cook set as well. That base is extremely stable. And also there's no heat transfer underneath the burner, which is really important. I've said it in a lot of previous videos, but when you're burning bioethanol fuel, be really careful. In certain lights, the flame is absolutely invisible. That's actually lit right now. Doesn't look like it, but it is. Just going to pop this on the top. Since I put the windshield on, I can actually see a little yellow glow of flame. Our little foldable brackets are all on the inside, which is the settings you need for your kettle and your saucepans. Got no frying pan action tonight, so we can just whack that right in there. And wait till she boils. That's good timing. I just set up my sleeping mat and my sleeping bag. Perfect. There we go. Right then, time to get our saucepan on. Whack that on there, get our boiling water in, and start cooking our spaghetti. Now, what I'm about to do is sacrilege, especially in the Italian community. And despite this meal being Sopranos inspired, I am mighty glad that I don't have Tony Soprano and his crew kicking around right now to observe what I'm about to do. I'm so sorry, Italians, but I gotta get it in my tiny saucepan. I know you're supposed to leave it long, and that's an awful thing to do to spaghetti, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Little bit of salt in there. Give it a stir. Make sure all of our spaghetti is submerged. And this is the frying pan from our cook set. I'm just going to rest it over the top there. I tell you what, I got bug spray on and these midgies are relentless. Good Lord. I've not been bitten, but I feel them crawling all over me. And when they go past your ear, you hear them go, "Nyeh." Really annoying. It's looking good. Now, as everybody knows, the way to tell if spaghetti is cooked, surefire way of doing it, is to throw it against a wall and see if it sticks. The spaghetti is there. Let's get it off that heat. Whack that over there next to the sheep poo for a minute. Pop that saucepan back on there. Now this, my fine friends, is a homemade tomato sauce that I made up earlier. Perfect for pasta. It's got quite an aniseed flavour because I used fennel seeds, which I swear by when cooking tomato recipes. It's really good. So if you want to know how to make this here sauce, check it out right now. So our other saucepan's on the heat. Gonna get all of this delicious, hearty, parmigiani, herby tomato sauce that we've got on there. Whack that on there. Try not to waste a drop of it. And what I picked up on the way over here is, fresh basil. Fresh herbs make a meal. They make such a huge difference. I'm just gonna grab the big handful and just roughly shred them up into our sauce. A bit like the icing on the cake, just trash all that lovely greenery in there. Even the cast in the Sopranos make a big deal out of their pasta dishes whenever there's fresh basil in it. You cooked the marigot with the fresh basil? Oh yeah. No different for us, my friends. Get our handy little Trangia grabber, which works tremendously well. Just going to see if there's any excess water in that, which there is just a little bit. And start mixing our spaghetti with our gravy. Maron. Smells amazing. Bellissimo. We're so close now. Freshly grated Parmigiana and pine nuts. And I'll whack half of this over the top. Stir it in, and then the rest as a nice little topping. Got to keep this spaghetti and sauce moving quick. There's quite a high heat on that Trangia underneath it. You don't want it to burn and stick to my pans. Beautiful, beautiful. There we have it, everybody. Camp Cookout Adventures Soprano inspired spaghetti and gravy. That looks absolutely tremendous. I'm going to get back to my tent sharp to eat this because these midgies are on another level. If I could commission a hit on anybody, it would be these dang midgies. Marron. We have our glorious spaghetti pasta meal tonight. That delicious smelling rich tomato sauce and the fresh basil with Parmigiana and pine nuts all cooked up on our lovely Trangia 27 stove, which is keeping me company in the mouth of the tent. I'm going to wash it down with a little bit of Shiraz as well. To your good health, everybody. Salut. I love spaghetti. A massive bowl of carbs. Hopefully that's going to keep me warm tonight. Let's have at it. Cheers. No, yeah. It's such comfort food, isn't it? Bowl of spaghetti and red sauce. Wonderful. Those sweet cherry tomatoes, a little hint of chili in there, fresh grated Parmigiana, the fresh basil. Forget about it.
Where you going? Take your hat off. Excuse me? They don't sell hot dogs here. They took the bleachers out 2 years ago.
It's my hat. I'll wear it where I want.
How you doing?
Pasta was absolutely divine, although the sheer amount of carbs is enough to put even Tony Soprano into a deep coma. The sun has gone down. It is around 11 o'clock, and I think before I go to bed I'm going to watch another episode of my show. A bit of Sopranos and some Butterkiss toffee popcorn. Perfect. Maron. Well, that's enough telly for one night. I'm absolutely shattered. I'll catch you guys in the morning. Hope you sleep well. Hope I sleep well. Good night, everyone. Good morning. Come and have a look at the Dartmoor morning mist. Very pretty, lovely. This is quite a classic heavy Dartmoor mizzle that's just coming in. They get you a little bit soaking if you're not careful. I'm going to get the kettle on just in the mouth of the tent, start packing stuff up, have a coffee. Oh yeah. Cheers, everyone. Lovely. Well, that was by far the quietest night's sleep I've ever had wild camping. It was really weird. There was no animals last night snuffling around like there was last time we went up on Dartmoor. I was expecting to hear some rustles through the forest, but no wind, no rain. Very peculiar. There we go, all packed up from our night's camp. You'll see from that time lapse, isn't it amazing how quickly that weather can change? I think what I'm going to do, because over the moor it is just pea soup, instead of wandering around trying to find those ruins, I'm going to hug the south side of the forest and then work my way in there from the east. I'm feeling good. Had 2 cups of coffee. It's amazing how much caffeine perks you up, isn't it? This dry stone walling is beautiful. It looks old, but I can't tell how old it is. The dam of the reservoir was constructed in the early 1900s. So I'm wondering whether that whole conservation project would have been a part of that era. It's such a massive workload. We're miles away from anything. I don't know what kind of workforce would have constructed all this lot. As you can see, some of the stones are massive. A mystery that isn't quite on par with the ancient Egyptians, but still an impressive task nonetheless. We've headed back into the forest now. All these trees are so densely populated. There's no wonder there wasn't much wind noise last night. I had this whole wall of greenery just muffling it. Beautiful. Part of the reason I abandoned the moorland exploration this morning, despite it being pea soup, was the midges once again were just starting to wake up. They are military grade midges, there's billions of them. I have got bug spray on which stops them from biting, but they still get right close in your ear, buzzing around. It's really annoying. Next time I'm coming, you can get these citronella incense sticks that you can set light and they just smoke. That'll help keep them away, I think. Look at that. We could be in the forests of Seattle for all you know. There's not a big racket of birdsong like I've had on some other camps. Quite subdued in this here forest. We are smack in the middle of Fernworthy Forest, and I've come across these clear ruins of an old settlement. All of this stonework here, and as you can see, the remains of an old wall. At some point in time, many years ago, right here, smack in the middle of the forest, this looks like a tiny village, or what remains of it. Fascinating. Dartmoor is littered with ruins of ancient settlements. It's a magic place to come and explore. It's just a strange feeling to be stood right in the middle of what would have been a real community of people living and existing here together. And now there is only this, just a mere echo of what used to be. It's very cool. Well, I'm in the middle of the forest right now and signal is non-existent, so I can't get on the internet. So for all of you sat at home at your computers right now, give it a Google for me. Give me some information. What are the ruins in the centre of Fernworthy Forest? Can you find anything out about that settlement? I'd love to know. If you find anything out, leave me a comment. Let us know. Bit of the blockage on the old path here. It's a mighty limb to have come down. Making our way back towards the reservoir now. Tremendous trees here of mighty girth. Makes some awesome planks. As a carpenter, I look at something like that and just think, whoa, that's a lot of money's worth of lumber right there. Get a fair few tables and chairs out of that lot, let me tell you. Today's breakfast of champions is a Jack Link's beef jerky bar, followed by some leftover butter-kissed toffee popcorn. For goodness sake, Sam, you're an animal. Oh, a nice bit of sunshine. Lovely. This entire time, apart from initially parking up at the car park, I haven't seen anybody else. Walked right the way through Fernworthy Forest yesterday, alongside the reservoir as well, up to our little campsite on the moor. No one. Did see one sheep. And this morning, I've seen absolutely nothing. Not including the 10 billion midges, of course. Popcorn reminds me of Sassy the Sasquatch. If any of you have seen that hilarious budget cartoon on YouTube of Sassy the Sasquatch. This is very much Sassy's territory. I wonder if we'll see a Bigfoot in these woods while eating my popcorn. We've just got our first glimpse of the reservoir again. I tell you what, you must come and check out Fernworthy Forest. Oh look, there's a deer down there. Look at that. Do you see him? Grazing away. I'm making a great racket here talking to you guys. I spooked him. Isn't that lovely? As I was saying, you guys must check out Fernworthy Forest if you're into your woodland walks. There's miles and miles of paths snaking their way right the way through the woods. Doesn't matter if you stick to them or go off-piste. There's so much to explore here. It is magic. Along the Reservoir Loop walk, you'll find a bunch of different buildings. They do actually do fishing on the reservoir for some freshwater varieties. And not only that, you'll see various sheds set up, which are for the public if you're into your bird watching. So there's lots of twitcher spots about. Speaking of twitching, it's a real shame that I missed it on the camera, but we just had a magnificent huge heron right on the waterside. Walked past him and he looked over and then he took off over that direction. In fact, I think I can see him way over the other side, but there's no way you guys are going to pick that up on the camera. It was beautiful. Big old bird. Isn't that just a sensational place? What a stunning view. I tell you what, this is a great experience to get a little taste of the variety of Dartmoor. You've got these dense forests, beautiful lakes and reservoirs and rivers and leats running through everything, and you are obviously right on the edge of the wild plains of the moor. You can kind of get everything ticked off if you just come right here. It's a great location. What did the fish say when he hit an underwater wall? Damn! Ladies and gentlemen, so marks the end of our Fernworthy Forest adventure. Thank you so much for joining me on it. I've had a tremendous time and I hope you've enjoyed yourself too. Help me out and please subscribe to the channel. We got loads of future adventures planned and I want to bring you guys along with me. Hit that notification button, stay in the loop, and I'll see you guys next time. Cheers everybody.